All right, so essentially we're going to continue the class card review, starting with the rogues. We left off last time with priest, so now we're going to go to the rogues. So overall, rogues this set got some more pirates. So they're basically more or less pirate themed in this rumble that they got going on because they're the cheats. But anyway, starting off with Captain Hooktusk, 8 mana, 6/3. Battle Cry, summon 3 pirates from your deck, give them rush. So essentially, the good thing about her is that once you set her down, she's able to summon more creatures on the board, and they actually do something to the board the moment that you play her. Especially if your enemy has minions, the rush will be able to attack them. Drawback is, of course, you can't really control what comes out, and with the fact that it's a late game 8 mana, you're hoping, of course, you still have pirates in your deck. At least 3 of them, that is. And you can't really control what 3 of those are going to come out. So, I mean, there is a good enough that it would have an effect on the board and kind of change things around, especially if your hand is low. But the key is that as far as pirates, I mean, there's not a whole lot of pirates, so making like a pirate deck is going to need more than just pirates alone. But she will be used. People will experiment with her, and if you haven't already seen it, definitely check out Sky's Toast video on it. Absolutely awesome, absolutely, and I mean, it's so great. All right, next, Crawl the Shark, the legendary for for the rogues this time, being the Loa, 5 mana 2/2, which of course doesn't mean a lot until Battlecry. Eat a minion in your deck and gain its stats. Death Rattle added to your hand. So this is one good way to like get a card to your hand as quickly as possible. Of course, it's random whatever he eats, but for example, say he eats Captain Hooktusk. So that would be an 8/5 right there that he would come in. I mean, he doesn't have rush or he doesn't have, charge or anything of that nature, but he can be a good body on the board. And the fact his death rattle added to your hand. So the interesting thing about this is Death Rattle Rogue from the last expansion where they proc their death rattles early, you might be able to actually get whatever he eats and get multiple copies of it into your hand. So, I mean, that would actually be on the plus side, especially like, was it Venom Vial, I believe it was, that you procs your death rattles twice. So, I mean, it all depends on what he devours right before he goes into your hand. So, I mean, it's a great possibility. All right. Next, Gurabashi Hypemon. 7 mana 5/7. So, first off, he's not a pirate. He may look like a pirate. He may dress like a pirate. But he's not a pirate. Battlecry. Discover a 1/1 copy of a Battlecry minion. It costs 1. So, man, there's no telling what he could get, to be honest. With the fact that it's going to be any Battlecry minion in the game, he could get anything good like Crawl, Captain Hooktusk. Now, of course, it's Discover, so you have a higher chance of getting Rogue battle cries before you getting, neutrals. But the problem is you just don't know what it is. And he costs 7. So one thing about Rogue, there's really not a control Rogue. So the fact that there isn't really a strong control Rogue, I mean, that negatively affects it a little bit as well. I mean, but if you're able to get this guy out I mean, there's a chance you can get some good. It's just a whole lot of probability in this one card alone. So, I mean, you'd be tested with probably one of, but it's just costs so much, when you want something to affect the board that moment. Like here you have Captain Hooktusk. She costs 8, but at least she draws 3 other minions on the board at the time. While Hypemon, you place them down, you cost you 7 mana. You're not doing what you want to do. You're not putting in your Gadgeton Auctioneer and going in and drawing cards. You're just getting 1/1/1 and hoping it's a good one. So he's like a fail-safe, I'm about to lose type deal. Let me try to see what I can do. So he's a little weak. If he was a pirate, I mean, just having that body come out with Captain Hooktusk would be nice. And that's probably why they didn't do it. Blizzard didn't make him a pirate for reasons like Hooktusk, but it is what it is. 6 mana Cannon Barrage. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy. Repeat for each of your pirates. So this can do a max of 24 damage because it does the 3 first and then it will repeat. 7 minions is 21. So yeah, 24 damage total. So I mean, to be honest, the only problem with this is that it's a win more card. It would be helpful if you had a few pirates on the board already and then play this. And then, it would, try to shoot the enemy team down and even the hero. And that's the thing. It goes to random. So even if they have a whole board, which you're going to see, it's going to be made. Those random trolled in videos of someone plays this and it does nothing but go face, or it hits the whole board and never hits face to get lethal. I mean, it's going to happen. But the problem is trying to make sure you control the board enough to have pirates on there. And in the whole game, there may not be as many pirates that you need. Or there may not even be a whole lot of pirates to begin with. All right. Spirit of the Shark. Basically, the spirit for the Loa of Groll. Stealth for 1 turn. Your minions' battle cries and combos trigger twice. So, honestly, this right here might be played even if you don't add the rest of these cards in here. Mainly for the fact that combos triggering twice, that's strong. Battle cries themselves are strong. And you got to remember, Rogue can take other class cards. So even if you steal a battle cry minion from another class, I mean, there's some strong battle cries. I mean, this stays on the board because it has stealth. You play Hypemon. Then it starts feeling a little better. You actually getting 2 minions. But, I mean, Kroll, what if he eats 2 of them? Now, I don't think his Death Rattle, his Death Rattle may get 2 minions back in your hand. But it's going to be experimented with. But I really think that of the rogue cards, Spirit of the Shark, it will probably be an auto-include in almost every rogue deck. For the fact that it stay on the board and it can combo with stuff. So look out for that one. It's going to be really interesting. Let's see. Raiding Party. Draw 2 pirates from your deck. Combo, add a weapon. So it's a way of, getting the pirates in your deck to your hand so you can combo and do what you need to control the board. The weapon, it's kind of like whatever. I mean, there's some weapons, but the key is you may not have too many weapons, especially when your hero power is a weapon on its own. So it's like, okay, the combo is neither here nor there, but paying 3 to draw 2 to hope that they do something to the board. I mean, if you're playing a pirate deck, you're going to play this card so you can get those pirates. But there's only so many pirates in the game. I mean, this one just adds 2. You got Captain Hooktusk, and you got the next one, Bloodsail Howler. And then you got the neutral pirates. I don't know. But I will say this pirate theme will be popular as time goes on and more pirates get added to rogues. This is one thing to watch out for in the future. Bloodsail Howler, Rush, 2 mana 1/1. Battlecry, gain 1/1 for each other pirate you control. Kind of like Cannon Barrage. I mean, it's good that it's a 2 cost, so you can kind of combo it with other stuff. I mean, if you saw the video, as far as the test video showing the card dump, it looked pretty cool with the fact that Captain Hook Tusk came out and it started to grow, and you play more of these cards and it's growing. So if you know about Rogue, you know about Pogo Hopper and how Pogo Hopper works and keep growing, growing, growing. And Lab Recruiter, making more copies of it. If I was having this in my deck, I would definitely put in Lab Recruiter. So then that way I'll have more and more and more of these guys on the field. So then that way, late in the game, I might have a chance. The key is it's rush, and as your enemy destroys more and more pirates on your field, this gets weaker and weaker. Well, actually, I take that back because it is a battle cry, so it's not a stance. So it's going to stay whatever it is. So if it's a 5/5, even if it kills other pirates on the board, it's still going to be 5/5. So I mean, I guess that's good then. But it's just not a whole lot of pirates in the game right now. So it's going to be interesting seeing a pirate deck. It's going to be played, but I don't think that's going to be. It's more going to be a meme deck than a tier 2, tier 1 deck. Walk the Plank. For mana, destroy undamaged minion. So for 1 mana less, it's not Assassinate. So you could play this in an even rogue deck, but you know, even if you didn't do an even rogue deck and did, you know, add it to Assassinates, add it to Walk the Planks, there's a lot of destruction of minions here. But you already have your Vileplume Slayer, and that automatically is not a hard combo to pull off to kill something, and that's a body on the board. So for right now, until Vileplume phases out, you're probably not going to have Walk the Plank on there. I'm surprised that they didn't make this conditional, like if you have a pirate on the board, destroy a minion or something. It's just straight 4 mana, destroy undamaged minion. So it's okay. I mean, it's normal, I guess you could say. Sorry about that. All right. Next, Stolen Steel. Discover a weapon from another class. So there's just a whole lot of probability in this one. And I mean, if you're going to end up being a weapon-centric rogue, then you might as well be playing Kingsbane. Otherwise, you're really not going to steal, use weapons from other classes here. And of course, those weapons can be anything. So if you're going to be weapon centric, you might as well have Kingsbane. You might as well. I mean, Kingsbane Rogue was already a strong deck. I mean, it's not the strongest, but it was annoying, I will say. So honestly, you don't even need this. And lastly, Serrated Tooth. 1 mana, 1/3, Death Rattle. Give your minions rush. So this one is actually really good. 1 is 1 mana, super versatile. 2, I mean, it's not a whole lot of damage, of course. Blah, it's 1 attack. Okay, whatever. The key is that you're playing a class that can destroy this whenever you need it to. So the Death Rattle will automatically proc whenever you want it. So you can play minions that don't naturally have rush, that you want to give it rush, and it just ends up being good. So this one, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this also wasn't auto-include in most rogue decks, because I mean, of course, as long as you're not a spell-heavy rogue, but if you have minions on the board and you want to give them rush automatically, 1 mana will technically be 3 mana if you do your hero power to destroy it, but 3 mana give all your minions rush that you just played. use your minions, control the board, win the game. Overall, Rogue, I mean, it has some stuff. It's not necessarily weak. It didn't get the short end of the stick this time, but it didn't get the best out of it as well. I mean, Spirit of the Shark is really strong. It's going to happen. Serrated Tooth is really strong. It's going to be played. Pirates is going to be experimented with, but the problem is Pirates strong enough to make a deck on its own? And honestly, like I said, I would probably have stuff like Lab Recruiter to copy different things in there to add more pirates to your deck to pull. And, it's going to have some Death Rattle stuff to it as well. So overall, it's okay, but I don't know. It will get stronger if they continue to make pirates in the future, though. Even if they add, like here, they added 2 pirates to it. Even if they continue to add 2 pirates in the coming year, Rogue can be really strong. All right, next we have Shaman. On Shaman, we got Crowag the Frog, basically the Load for this. 6 mana for 6, Battlecry, return all spells you played last turn to your hand. So, being at 6, turn 5, I mean, you don't even have to play this on 6. I mean, just saying. Turn 5, though, if you use Hex to control the board, if you use Lightning Storm, Zap, that's 0 cost, just play this and bam, your hand is auto refilled. So you definitely want to plan ahead, control the board, have Crowag on there, and I mean, use those same spells that you use to help you out again. So it's a win. So this is a good legendary. We'll see how it goes in the future. Zentimo, 3 mana, 1/3, legendary champion for Shaman. Whenever you target a minion with a spell, it also targets adjacent ones. So a lot of people are talking about this. Of course, you have Hex. Instant Hex like 3 enemy minions. And you have a lot of Shaman spells. You have Unstable. I mean, you have things that can Unstable Evolution. You have things that you can just target on your own minions as well. The key is make sure you have this guy on at least so you don't accidentally evolve him. I mean, it has some versatility to it, and the fact that it's 3 mana, it will help out. So he will be experimenting with like maybe like a mid-range control like. The only key thing is we're in an environment with Shutterwalk. Shutterwalk is Shutterwalk. He does his thing, and it's already pretty strong. So the key is, will any of these cards be used alongside Shutterwalk, or is Shutterwalk too strong to even try something else? So we'll see. All right, Haunting Visions, 3 mana. The next spell you cast this turn costs 3 less. Discover a spell. So here you play this, right? And then the next one you play with 3 less, but you discover a spell. So you can already plan ahead and be like, all right, discover a spell you really need. And it may cost anywhere from 0 to 6, 5. I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. And the fact is, you play this, next turn, go with Crowag, you get Haunting Visions again, you get the spell that you're trying to do for cheap again. I mean, and a popular one, discover the spell, but you gotta remember, whenever you discover something, you always have a higher chance of getting the class spells first. So things like Hex, would be free. So of course there's going to be a lot of playing this and a lot of trying to get what you need out of it. But this next spell, 2 mana, Big Bad Voodoo, give a friendly minion Death Rattle, summon a random minion that costs 1 more. The problem here is the word random. So yeah, you might as well just play Unstable Evolution. I guess the good thing out of this is maybe if Haunting Vision it and it's 0 and you don't have a lot of minions on the board, maybe even Zetimo, play this on your board and I mean, this would be a lot better, not just placed on one, but placed on 3 minions. On Zetimo himself, he dies and bam, at least you still have an established board. It may not be the board you want it to, especially with the word random on it, but at least it's something. And then, of course, Croag comes in and you get it again. So all of this is always a good thing, always a possibility. All right. Spirit of the Frog, introduced by Trump SC. If you haven't seen the video, I highly suggest you look that up on YouTube. It is a great video. But 3 mana 0/3, the Spirit. Stealth for 1 turn. As always, whenever you cast a spell, draw a spell from your deck that costs 1 more. So this is a great card. Even if you're going to do, I mean, one thing about the shaman stuff, as you could tell, is pretty spell heavy. But the key is, here you are grabbing the spells that you have in your deck, that's pulling what you need, adding it to your hand. And then you could just play it again, play it again, play it again. Next turn, Croag, and get the spells back in your hand. So anything that pulls from your deck and gives it to your hand is a great thing. And of course, when you're making your deck, you're already putting in spells that will benefit you. So the fact that at least for 1 turn, maybe even 2 turns, you play a spell, even if it's a spell like controlling the board, like Hex. If you have a 4 cost spell, put it in your hand. Use it for later. Don't even have to use it that same turn. So the versatility of it is pretty strong. Now, of course, the problem here is, would you have 2 of these in your deck? Because after a while, the question is going to be, how many spells do you have in your deck? I mean, is your whole deck going to be spells? No. You're going to have minions on top of that. Croag, Zetimo, you're going to have these spell heavy, spell helpful. But your whole deck can't be spells, so, and you have to make sure they're sequential to a degree. But get them in your hand, even if you Croag once and get them right back into your hand, the ones that you'd use, I mean, you're essentially in a favorable position, I would say. All right, next. 3 mana 3/3, Bog Slosher. Battlecry, return a friendly minion to your hand and give it +2/+2. So, just like all those pandas returning cards to your hand, this is not only returning it to your hand, but giving it +2/+2. So, good if you have some minions, good if you're trading, and it's lower, return it to your hand, put it back out. Cards like Zetimo, it's already doing its thing. Say you run out of spells, you don't need them out there anymore. Play Bog Slosher, return it to your hand, bam. It's already going to be a 3/5 at this point. So higher survivability, get some more spells from Croag or whatnot, bam. You're back in the game again. So has some versatility to it. And, the only drawback is, of course, you kind of want to make sure you have somewhat of a board on there. But, I mean, even if you have 1, 2, 3 minions, you put this in, the fact that it's +2/+2, but then you got to replay it. I mean, overall, I think this is going to be good, but you just got to plan around by having both spells and minions that can benefit from the +2/+2. I mean, worst case scenario, you'd use your hero power, totem up, return it to your hand, +2/+2, play it whenever you need to. I mean, at least it has attack now, so if you play that totem, it can attack when you need it to. So, versatility is pretty cool. We'll see how it goes. 2 mana 1/3, Lickum, weapon. Has +2 attack while you have overloaded mana crystals. So, of course, you want to play this in an overloaded deck. I foresee this card being a lot stronger in wild than it is constructed nowadays, but it's a weapon. I mean, it has versatility to it, and don't get me wrong, 2 mana 3/3 weapon. I mean, that's Fiery Winx right there. Better than Fiery Winx. And but like I said, this is more of a wild card right now. More cards come out that can overload you in the future. This can be strong and constructed as well. Next, 6 mana, Reign of Toads. Summon 3/2/4 Toads with Taunt, Overload 3. So here you have Overload cards that, you can use Lickum with, and, the old Toad thing going on. But the key is it's good for a defensive type deal where you basically just summon 3 taunts for yourself with 2/4 that actually, it's not like you're automatically hexing your own creatures. Because think of it, Zentimo, if you have minions on the board, you're in dire straits somehow, totems, you hex, so then you turn most of your board into zero attack taunts because of hex. It's kind of the same thing. This is 3, hex is 3, so that's 6. The only thing is they don't have attack, and while this one gives them attack 2/4, and the only thing is downside it overloads. But this is one card versus Zentimo and another spell, I should say. So that's 2 cards that you might be able to get back with Crowag, but we'll see. So, defensive card, we'll see how it goes. Next, Totemic Smash. 1 mana, deal 2 damage. Overkill, summon a basic totem. So, this, I think, is more of a versatile thing to do. 1 mana to do 2 damage. That's really all it is. So, it's cheap. Something you can use with Spirit of the Frog. A cheap 1 cost into 2 cost, 3 cost, and so on and so forth. And if you get the versatility of summon a basic totem, hey, maybe it's a spell powered totem, help you out in the future. Either way, it's a spell to help out with all the spell centric stuff. And last, Wartbringer, Battlecry. If you play 2 spells this turn, deal 2 damage. So it's not a card that you're going to play on turn 1. With 1 health as well, it's just instantly going to die. The only time you're going to play it on turn 1 is you really have nothing in your hand. Which, if it happens, it happens. But the fact that it is able to actually do 2 damage Battlecry on something, you had to have already played spells beforehand that did something. Whether they've done damage, whether, Reign of Toads, defensive. I mean, it's good with the fact that with Zentimo and other things, you're going to be playing spells. And then you drop this down for 1 and you're doing another 2 damage on top of things. I mean, you have Zap at 0 cost. Then you go into Totemic Smash. And then you play this. So literally, you can do all of that on turn 2. But on turn 2, you've used 3 cards. And there's really not a whole lot you want to do that for, especially creatures that you can do that for on turn 2. And of course, you got to remember Zap overloads you. But if anything, I will say, if you haven't already looked up the card art explanations, here, I'll even show it here. So you got Wartbringer. Let's see. Or flavor text. Does she cause them with magic or just like have a bucket she brings with her? So, Wartbringer, okay, whatever. The funny thing is, Reign of Toads actually kind of carries from that flavor text. Which you see the toad is different. Oh, that's how she brings the warts. See? Read that earlier. I thought that was pretty funny. But anyway, as overall, Shaman. Shaman does what Shaman does. I mean, I will say, if you've played Hearthstone for a long while, you know that for in the beginning, Shaman was one of the well, there was a time when Shaman was a very, very, very weak class, and it was weak for almost a whole year. I mean, it was weak for a long time. And then they buffed it, and Shaman was super strong for a long time. And now they've kind of rebalanced it. Now Shaman has evolved to a Shudderwock reign supreme, and that's all there is. But one of these days we'll be rid of Shudderwock, and maybe we'll be towards a spell minion spell kind of hybrid type deal. The key is Shudderwock. Is this going to be stronger than Shudderwock? And right now, the way Shudderwock works, I mean, that's already pretty strong. So we'll see how this goes. It'll be tested. See if it stays the same. All right, Warlock. So Warlock this time around got some pretty interesting cards there. You're going to see a theme with the discard, and they're getting discard is starting to kind of get in the right direction, but it's kind of still hard to see. Are they? Do they actually get it fixed now? All right, we'll start with Hyreek the Bat, 8 mana, 1/1. Battlecry, fill your board with copies of this minion. So, of course, you're like, why would I play 8 for just a whole board full of 1/1s? Now, you got to remember, of course, there have been cards that a Warlock has come out with, even neutrals, that can buff the cards in your hand. Start getting this bad boy buffed, he might actually, be a contender there. But we'll go in that a little bit later when you look at the totem. Next, High Priestess Jekyll, or Jeklik, I should say. 4 mana, 3/4, Taunt Lifesteal. When you discard this, add 2 copies of it to your hand. So here's where the discard kind of becomes something that's interesting. You want to discard her. You want to discard her as many times as possible, especially to fill your hand with as much as possible. So she's just going to keep being confounded. And if you can discard her 2-3 times, I mean, you're going to have a handful of these 3/4 taunts that lifesteal. And of course, lifesteal is just going to heal back the Warlock, and he's going to be in a great position. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's pretty strong, but we'll see if this alone can carry a discard-worthy Warlock. 8 mana, Void Contract. Destroy half of each player's deck. Now, this plays more into the kind of disruptive Warlock that we had seen last expansion with Gnome Feratu. I mean, I'll be honest, this is probably meme-tastic. And it's actually going to be pretty interesting to see how this is going to work. Now, granted, there's going to be decks of this. People are going to play Void Contract like crazy. But, I mean, honestly, is it going to be a high contender? Probably not, but it's going to be fun. I mean, just off the bat, destroy half your opponent's deck. Now you're destroying your deck as well, but think of it. If you're a discard and you already have several High Priestess Jekylls in your hand, and you might be, your Warlocks, your health might be a little low, but you just have more and more of these. And if you use the quest for Warlock and you're summoning 2 demons every turn, I mean, who cares what's in your deck? But it's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be pretty interesting. So we'll see how that goes. And if it becomes a contender, that's going to be pretty funny. If that actually becomes a high tier deck. We'll see how it goes though. Alright. 6 mana, 6/6, Soul Warden. Battlecry. Add 3 random cards you discarded this game to your hand. So this is what kind of helps out in the discard aspect. You discard so many minions, and of course, if you're discarding High Priestess Jeklik, add 3 more to your hand. Now, of course, they're random, so during the whole aspect, you're discarding a whole lot of other creatures as well. But Soul Warden alone could help out Warlock to where, hey, I just discarded this important creature, card, or whatever. Play it, get it back. It's random, so you may not get back what you need, but it's in the right direction. So we'll see how strong, or if discard Warlock is actually it's good. But discard lock, we'll see how it goes. So here we got the Spirit of the Bat. Stealth for 1 turn. After a friendly minion dies, give a minion in your hand +1/+1. So this is what's going to be interesting towards Hyreek the Bat, because as you're killing off your minions, you're going to keep growing whatever's in your hand. So the goal is to, of course, proc Hyreek the Bat. The problem with it is, what are you going to play this in? Are you going to play it in Zoo? I mean, you can, but Zoo's not really going to be trading a whole lot. I mean, you're going to have times when you are going to trade, but I don't know. It's definitely not going to be in a control like Warlock. It's not going to be in the discard like Warlock. It really is just going to be in Zoo. So in Zoo, yes, you're going to try to keep getting cards, more and more cards in your hand. But Hyreek the Bat, that's the one that you're really going to try to get into. But the problem with Zoo is, by the time you get to 8 mana, you want to, I mean, honestly, you want to be in a controlling position to where you're almost winning or have already won. So, I mean, it's going to be used, it's going to be tried out, but it's really going to be hard to try to weave that in when you already have this discard aspect of it. And, you know, here you have Hyreek. What if you buff Hyreek like crazy, then discard him? Then what? You're kind of screwed. We'll see how it goes. 1 mana, Shriek. Discard your lowest cost card. Deal 2 damage to all minions. So like a super cheap kind of Hellfire. But the problem is you're discarding your lowest cost, which could be, you know, Spirit of the Bat, which you can get back with Soul Warden. But you want to be careful with your discard pool if you're going to play Soul Warden back. I mean, if you're going to play the Quest Warlock, you're definitely going to play this so that you can keep discarding as much as possible. But we'll see if it's viable. Next, Grim Rally, 1 mana. Destroy a friendly minion, give your minions +1/+1. So, of course, play Hyreek the Bat, destroy one of them, buff the rest. The problem with Grim Rally is you're going to want to do it on, of course, Death Rattle minions. Any Death Rattle minion that like summons another one, like eggs and such, it doesn't proc first. So you don't get the destroying of the creature and then this buffing them after, you know, and buffing whatever you just destroyed. So, of course, you got egg and you're getting the Devil Sword. The Devil Sword doesn't become a 6/6. It's still a 5/5. Everything else grows. So, of course, the only real viable one this would be in would be Zoo. But with Zoo, you already want so many minions on the field that you want to basically go face. You want to kind of control the board a little bit. So almost every single creature you play in Zoo is going to be important. So where are you going to weave in destroying a creature to buff all the other creatures? I mean, you can, but it's basically a quote unquote win more card. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, the only thing that I personally see where it can be strong in is if you do the Disco Lock and you have the quest and you're summoning those demons, the 3/2 demons to a turn, and then you're like, you know, destroy one of them is not a big deal to buff everything else. That could be viable. That could be usable. I mean, that's an idea, but honestly, which would be better? Having this in your deck or having another creature in your deck that can be easier for Zoo to get in? Because trust me, if you're running low on cards and you have a few creatures on the board and you tap into this, you may not be happy. You might want a creature more so than just this card. So we'll see how it goes in the future, but not looking good at this moment. All right. 8 mana, Demon Bolt. Destroy a minion, costs 1 less for each minion you control. Now, of course, that's destroying any minion. I don't know why you would want to destroy your own minion, but you just basically it's assassinate that gets cheaper and cheaper as you have a board. Now, unless you're like, have a taunt or something, enemy has taunt and it's cheating, and you want to go face, and here they are disrupting your plans, you're probably not going to play this in Zoo. I mean, you can. The only drawback is, of course, the reason why they didn't make it 7 mana is because, of course, if you have 7 minions on the board, at 8 it costs 1. At 7 mana it will be just 0. They did say in the video, if you haven't seen the video of them with a card dump, that they tried it at 7, but it felt unfair when you had your Death Knight come out and it's free. So not only do you summon a board full of demons, then you just automatically destroy an enemy minion. And then even if you had 2 of these. So I mean, I can understand that aspect. But the key is, I mean, you're really not going to play it in Zoo. You might play it in the Control Warlock, but they already have that lifesteal stone that already procs almost all the time, so that will probably be a lot better, and it gives you lifesteal, heals you for 7, so that's probably best for what they already currently have. All right, 7 mana, 5/8, a Blood Troll Sapper. After a friendly minion dies, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. So this is also a problem card because it's like it costs a lot. 7 mana, 5/8, so 13 worth in stats, 8 health. I mean, it has a lot of health. It's probably going to stay on the board, but if you're Zoo, you're not going to play this because by 7 mana, same problem. With 7 mana, you want to play more minions on the board. And a controlling one, you're really not worried about going face so much. You're going to grind out the enemy. So it's in a weird spot, really. And honestly, because of that, it may not be played. And it's not even a demon to basically kind of cast it out in some way. So, I mean, honestly, of the warlock cards we have here, this is probably going to be played the least. I mean, barring Void Contract, because, I mean, honestly, you're going to probably build a deck around that. But Blood Troll Sapper might have sapped itself out of the game. Next, 3 mana, 2/6, Reckless Dire Troll, Taunt, Battle Cry. Discard your lowest cost card. So another one that takes care of your lowest cost card. And it's 3 mana. So of course at 3, it's a pretty sizable taunt. It's not a demon. So, because it's kind of like a troll thing or whatever. So, I mean, it can be disruptive with the fact that here it is, a taunt. Your opponent has to deal with it. I mean, honestly, this could be something you play in Zoo. The problem is you would have with Zoo, the fact that it discards your lowest cost card. You have a lot of low cost cards in Zoo that you just want to throw on the board and try to do what you can, doing damage, controlling it, hitting face here and there, and winning the game in a fast space. With Taunt, you're not really, I mean, you're kind of protecting yourself. And if you're in a position where you need to protect your own life, you're in a losing position as Zoo. I mean, there's going to be times where, as Zoo, you're going to control the board a little bit just to be in winning position in the next few turns. But yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty good in Disco Lock, especially if the lowest cost card ends up being, 4 cost with High Priestess Jeklik. You want to discard that as much as possible. So it's going to see some play, but it's going to be trying to find out the right thing to put it in, I guess is the best phrase. So overall, Warlock, they're kind of mediocre as well. They have some possibilities, and the biggest possibility is this discard Warlock style. Is it finally going to be strong, especially with the quest? And honestly, if you're going to play discard, you might as well play the quest. You'll eventually get it. And if you haven't seen the video as far as what they played whenever they try to do the card dump, I mean, it looked pretty good. Discarding Jeklik a whole lot, getting her back. Seeing the Warlock low on health, all of a sudden get back full health because of it. It's pretty good. I mean, it looks great. So out of these, this is probably going to be played the most. Jeklik. Hyreek the Bat, I mean, it just costs so much. And it's a beast, okay. And you got to buff it. There's a lot of work involved on this. And in Warlock, you don't want to work that hard. You want to win. So we'll see how it goes. Warrior. So Warrior this time turnaround got, I mean, it got pretty strong in this. It already, we just had Boomsday cards come out a couple of months ago, and Warrior looked pretty good with that. Now they're looking even better. So now they got before they were, Mechanic and Dr. Boom and the aspect. Now they have a dragon theme along with this rush theme. So they have a lot of options. Starting out with Akali the Rhino. Beast, of course. But as the Loa, 8 mana 5/5 has Rush, Overkill. Draw a Rush menu from your deck, give it 5/5. Now that right there is pretty strong because you already can have Rush cards. You're drawing that Rush card and you're just buffing that Rush card. So anything, I mean, getting 5/5 to a card, that is pretty good. So then that way, even if Akali dies, you already have another contender that could just come right in. And it's overkill though. So of course at 5, there's a good sizable amount of stuff you can overkill at 5 attack. So I mean, it's a good card. It's a good Loa. And then the champion for it is it's good as well. 4 mana, 4/3, Battlecry, copy all dragons in your hand. So they have both a dragon theme and a rush theme this time around. And, overkill as well. So here you have, if your hand already is weak, you have dragons, and if you have a couple of dragons, you got to remember, dragons synergize with more dragons you have in your hand. So this right here at 4, you're just going to double. I mean, come on now. Double Ysera, double, well, you're not going to really double Deathwing or anything, but double Ysera, double any dragon in this expansion. I mean, come on now. You're creating cards for yourself. And creating more cards than this 30 card limit that you have is always going to be strong. And dragons in themselves are already naturally strong. So this right here, it's auto include in these dragon decks. Even if you have a deck that doesn't even have a lot of dragons, you can still get this guy and double the dragons you have. It's going to be great. It really is. That's why, I mean, just off these 2 cards alone, they already have a good basis for Warrior this time around. All right, the weapon, 6 mana, 4/4, Zolthrace, Overkill, you may attack again. So here you can almost clear a board as this with this weapon. Now, of course, that means you're taking a lot of damage to your face, but you're Warrior. Warrior has armor. Keep getting that armor, keep growing it. It's going to be fine. Next, 3 mana, 3/2, Smolderthorn Lancer. Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, destroy a damaged enemy minion. So it's basically execute for odd warrior. Now you gotta remember, these cards get odd and even stuff. So say you're odd warrior, you don't have execute, you basically have execute. Say you're a regular warrior and you have 4 ways of destroying enemy minions. 2 here, 2 with a regular spell execute. So it's execute with a body, which the only condition is having a dragon. Okay. I mean, I have War Master of Wound on there. I'm going to have dragons. So there's only a couple of situations where that might be an issue, but honestly, most of the time, all you need is at least 1 dragon and you can execute something, in some way damage something. So it's already going to be pretty good. 6 mana, heavy metal spell, summon a random minion with cost equal to your armor up to 10. So of course, you have anything more than 10 armor, it's going to just summon a 10 cost minion. So heavy metal, I mean, it's good. The only key is you're already going to have like a dragon theme. You're already going to have maybe a rush theme. So it's, of course, the random nature of it. 8 cost minions are pretty strong. So, I mean, you might include this in your deck. It's just why when you can already be in a controlling stance with other things. But it's a possibility to get more things in. So it's an okay card. More than likely, this is going to be a lot stronger in Arena. But in Constructed, it is what it is. It's what we got. All right. Ember Scale Drake. 5 mana, 5/5. Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, gain 5 armor. This right here is a solid. It's just a solid card. Here you already have a dragon. It's going to proc off other dragons. And we had Shield Maiden that was 6 mana long ago. And it was played. People, I remember when that was being reviewed, people thought that it wouldn't be played. But gonna find out just gaining 5 armor, which is better than healing for 5 because it stacks. It's just strong. It's a great thing. So it's 1 mana less. I mean, shoot, play 2 of these when you're at 10, you gain 10 armor. So it's great. And it's going to help what Dragon Warrior. It's going to bring all this together. 1 mana, 0/3. Stealth for 1 turn. Your rush minions are immune the turn they're summoned. So this is going to go towards the rush theme. Play the Rhino here. It's immune. Kill something. Bam. Draw another rush. It has 5/5. If you're able to even play it, bam. It's immune. So it's gonna, I mean, Warrior, it's got the strongest cards this time around. And it's almost every card alone is pretty strong. Combined together, it's just going to make a strong deck. The key is it too strong? We'll have to see. But Warrior has the chance to be some tier 1, tier 2 decks here. 3 mana, 2/4. Overlord's Whip. Weapon. After you play a minion, deal 1 damage to it. So this is going to be proc all those pseudo enraged cards. The cards that used to, have the enraged tag, which no longer do. They just basically say if they get damaged, they do so and so. So an easier way of doing this. The key is, are you going to play this? Or are you going to play the weapon that we had that would Whirlwind when you play it, or Battlecry and Death Rattle? I mean, maybe you play them all if you're going to create a meme deck that basically has enraged cards in it. But looking here, you're going to play a rush cards. You're going to be playing the dragon cards. So, yeah, I mean, it's 4 durability, so it's already going to stay around for a while. And it's 3 cost, but why? I mean, we already got other weapons. That would probably be better than it. We'll see when they phase out. We might be picking up this whip, but otherwise, we're good with what we got. All right. Dragon's Roar. 2 mana. Add 2 random dragons to your hand. So this is what brings Dragon Warrior all together. So you're already going to be playing dragons. You're going to be playing War Master of Vune. That's going to double your dragons. And by chance, you don't have any dragons. For 2 mana, bam, you just add it. Even though they're random, the key is dragons, for the most part, they have the keyword that they got to have other dragons in hand. So just this one card alone is going to make Emberscale Drake proc, any other dragons there proc, Smolderthorn Lancer proc. I mean, it's great. And like I said before, adding cards to your hand in any way is going to be strong, especially if they're minions. The only way I see any of these being an issue is, of course, as warrior, if you're going to be playing dragon, it's going to be more either mid-range or controlling. So, I mean, unless you get some aggro, we get a meta that's super aggro, that even having these dragons is going to be an issue, which I still don't even see that being an issue, because you got Smolderthorn Lancer. If you're up against Zoo, up against Hunter, or whatever, they're taking you down, even though you're trying to get as much armor as possible, you're going to be fine. You're going to be way fine. So we'll see how this controlling deck is going to be. And then finally, we got Devastate. 1 mana, deal 4 damage to 4 damage to a damaged minion already. So in some way, it's going to be a minion that's already damaged, and then you're almost killing it off. So if it's already damaged, then of course you can Smolderthorn Lancer it, destroy it. But the key is, this almost is like an execute in and of itself. So it's great. I mean, it's gonna, you're probably gonna have maybe one of these in the warrior deck because you're already gonna have all these other good cards in here. Overall, I mean, warrior just has so many good cards, possibilities of great decks that you can do. So bringing this all together, I mean, you can make a rush deck, you can make a dragon deck, you can make somewhere in between that. I mean, the possibilities are just there. So out of this whole expansion, warrior has probably got the best of all these cards together because of how strong the possibilities are. And we just got off the back of Boomsday with warrior having strong, hero with Dr. Boom and mechs and such. So you already have those mech decks. You already have these. So warrior's sitting pretty right now. It's super pretty. And of course, warrior's already #1 in arena because of how bad it was. Blizzard stepped in and made the buckets and the pools of it pretty strong. So I don't know. We might be changing from Druid Stone to Warrior Stone. We don't know. But it's going to be pretty interesting come Monday. All these cards coming in and people testing and doing different things. All right. So that's everything for today on the review. That's all the class cards for right now. Tomorrow I'll come back and do all the neutrals. And we got a good mix of neutrals here. We'll basically discuss them all. And it'll be the final thing. And this weekend, we'll see all this stuff and check it out. But thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching. And you guys have a nice night.